Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Enterprise Edge podcast. I am thrilled to have TVN Reddy joining me, CEO of Aptean, based here in Atlanta. We are thrilled. Aptean is on a trajectory of success with organic and inorganic growth, targeting them towards almost $1 billion in revenue, and really interesting industry-specific strategy is serving them well, and I'm looking forward to the conversation. I hope you are as well. TVN, thank you for joining.
No, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Super excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, great. Well, congrats. So let's talk about acquisitions. Most recently, Aptean made a fairly significant acquisition in Logility. I think it was almost 500 million in April, I think, earlier this year. Supply chain management focus. And I think since you became CEO in 2018, you've done a number, like 30 some odd acquisitions. So this is clearly a key part of your growth strategy. And I'm curious, how do you balance the speed of integration with sort of the depth and the realization of value? Talk a little bit about your playbook that you've repeated multiple times and how that's working for you.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Yeah, let me first talk about Logility.
Yep.
It's a very, very complementary acquisition for us. As you know, right, Aptean has been a lot of ERP focus, like MES, ERP, and TMS focus. In a way, if you think about it, that's on execution side. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like we execute the different processes of the customer. What we did not have very super capabilities, while we have some capabilities embedded within some of the ERPs, we did not have very superior industry best capabilities in the planning, forecasting, and optimization. Yep. Whether it be supply, inventory, and manufacturing, and a way to model out scenarios, right, and demand optimization as well. So it's really what Logility brings us, the software that's focused on supply, demand, and inventory optimization, along with many other capabilities, and significant amount of AI embedded in all their solutions to drive continuous optimization of the customer's supply chain. So we can combine that with our best-in-class, very industry vertically focused ERPs and other manufacturing capabilities. So that then we can actually provide end-to-end solutions to our customers in all the segments we focused on, whether it be process manufacturing, discrete manufacturing, distributors around the world and across the globe. So we're very, very excited about the acquisition. It's super complementary. We already have, I think, at least more than a dozen of our existing customers that interested about buying solutions from came with Logility. Actually, there's one customer maybe signing up this week. It is this week, so it actually shows the excitement of our customer base around the solutions as well. And talk about kind of back and about our acquisitions. Yeah, we've been pretty active. As you know, in making a number of acquisitions. Our primary purpose being, number one, is we're bringing complementary solutions to our portfolio, like Logility, like Paragon for TMS solutions, or right TLX, and we acquired another acquisition recently, Ignition. It's called the DSD software, which has been a gap in our solutions for a while. So that's number one reason for us to continue to do it. I'll talk a little bit about why that strategy is proving to be significant value creation for us as the AI comes into the play, which we did not have until 2 years ago.
Got it.
The second reason we make a lot of acquisitions is really same vertical. We have a number of solutions. We kind of consolidate different players, and we can offer them better, best-in-class solutions, because with our scale, we can invest heavily into those businesses and in the products. For example, the food and beverage solution, we made a lot of acquisitions. We probably spent over $60-70 million over the last 6-7 years building the best-in-class, bar none, award-winning software in the market.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, it has worked really well for us. We will continue to make accretive acquisitions. That's just part of our strategy.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, there's two thoughts, two follow-ups on that, TVN. One is you mentioned a key point, which is existing customers being interested in Logility's solution and value prop, and I think that's a key part that we've seen anyway, is the revenue synergy that comes from these acquisitions. In other words, demand from your existing client base for the acquired capabilities and vice versa, right? It sounds like that's what's playing out for you guys. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely playing out. And also, even when we go for new prospect, right, new customer acquisition,
Yeah.
we're able to present a value proposition that nobody else has.
Right. That's right. And the other piece is, I read the other day that, one of the indicators of success for acquiring the way you all are, accretive acquisitions, is what happens to the customer base during the integration period. In other words, what has happened to Logility's customer base during the integration period. So if they are, for the most part retained, there's not a lot of, flight or attrition, it's a good indicator or a predictor that the go forward entity is going to be successful. It was an interesting thought, right? When people talk about all the failure stories of, very promising acquisitions that happen that don't end up actually delivering value in the end. And this supposition was, well, look what happens to the customer base during that vital integration period. And I thought that was interesting. I'm curious what you've any observations on that? Does that ring true to you?
Yeah, I mean, Logility, I mean, their customer base is thrilled, right? We
Yeah.
we didn't have any
Yep.
any losses resulting from acquisitions, and our conversations with the customers
Yep.
have been great. Like I said, both sides, the customers on both sides are seeing the value
Yep.
of Aptean, right? Aptean, obviously, our scale, we can put more innovation with AI, everything else behind the products they already love, they've been using. And then the second aspect of that is really, it's for a customer, potential customer, maybe thinking about long-term viability of their product because they're doing business with smaller companies. Logility is a reasonable sized company. A lot of our companies we acquire are smaller. So their customers are a little bit worried about, hey, what's going to happen to my vendor, right? Who's like
Yeah.
a $10 million business? Can they invest into AI and all these technologies? It's going to lead me into future. So they feel at ease when they know their products are now backed by a large company with $900 million of revenue.
That's right.
Right, and then they have a path, and we can articulate our investments behind it. So
Yeah.
now, not only Logility, all the acquisitions we have done over till date, our customer loss resulting from acquisition has been like nothing more than a typical customer loss they would have had without acquisition.
Yeah, nothing unusual. Okay, great. Well, good. Well, let's keep moving. I didn't introduce you properly and tell people about your deep engineering background, but I know that you're an engineer and a developer at heart, and I'm a technologist, right? And so this era that we're in with agentic AI, we have to talk about that, right? And people are even calling this year, 2025, is sort of the year of the agent, right? 99% of enterprise developers are exploring AI agents, right? However, kind of the real world ERP implementations, they're still sort of, chugging along. And so there's this concern that there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of theater, there's a lot of marketing around agentic AI. And I think that's true. I'm curious from your background, what's your assessment of where agentic AI is in the market, but more importantly for Aptean? How prominent is it in your development plans and your product plans?
Yeah, great question, Mark. Obviously,
Yep.
it's a topic very close to my heart
Yep.
because I am a technologist.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, from industry perspective, right? I'm probably one of those guys who are pretty bullish on AI and how it's going to transform the world, especially you talk about healthcare, right? How great the healthcare could be with all the data on AI, right? The educational system, And as we have seen in the previous kind of innovation cycles, we're going to end up as as humans, as a planet, a lot more, more employment, better quality of life, right? Longer, right, longevity, a lot of those great things that we all expect from it. So, it's again, obviously, I'm a big proponent of the technology, especially this. And stepping back about really talking about agents and AI. But the reality is we have them now, right? Uber runs agents, and Amazon has agents, and we have agents, and our software has agents. But it just people don't we didn't necessarily call them all of that historically. Now we have a different, right, like a new name and new language to talk about. So yeah, I mean we're going to have an influx of agents in everything we do.
Yeah,
Right? Whether
right.
it be, you have agents in your car driving from here to there, right? Agents in your, computer, and the
Yeah.
smartphone will have like thousands of agents running.
That's right.
Right, it's going to be a lot of agents, and and let's go to the enterprise software. It is from a software and enterprise software perspective, putting Apteans aside, I do think it's going to be a significantly shift on how software has been built, consumed, implemented, and used by consumers, right, of the future in enterprise and on consumers, right? Because over the last 20, 30 years since software has invented the punch cards in the 1950s, we evolved significantly over the last 50 years. But it's still, a lot of it is, if you think about enterprise space specifically, the vendors create and say, hey, I got this little solution for you. It's called OEE or MES or ERP for a company, like a bakery, or a company that makes widgets and sells them. Why do they need to understand what ERP is, what supply chain is, what MES is?
Yeah.
Right? So it's kind of like the software vendors kind of decided what solution they build, and the industry analysts said, hey, this is called this, and they're probably 3-letter acronyms that make up the entire, right, the solution suite. Right? We talk about it, maybe 50 for a larger company, right?
Yeah.
But if you step back and think about it, it's really what a business needs is, software or a solution, not even a solution, that's going to automate, optimize their systems on an ongoing basis and help the managers to make right decisions at the right time and execute various tasks in their supply chain, right, as efficiently as possible, so they can actually do what they're meant to do, which is, maybe making pizza sauce or making spices or distribute, like make furniture, whatever that is, right? And then distribute the furniture and sell it to it, right? So I do think fundamentally, it has to eventually we have transforming thing about solutions that help businesses do, right, plan and execute and optimize their entire back office.
Yeah.
I think the constraint of software development being so expensive that going to last for 50 years will change as we think forward. On AI agents, whether it be producing code or giving assistance or performing tasks or predicting the future of all of those things will play really well into kind of transforming into that future, which will only, right, exponentially increase the value of software that will be provided to the enterprises.
It's fascinating time. I mean, you mentioned it a little bit already, and that's the economics of enterprise software consumption are changing and look like they will continue to change rapidly with autonomous agents, performing actions and delivering value without, in some cases, human intervention, or maybe with less human intervention. There's plenty of human in the loop use cases that will persist, I think, for a long time. It's changing how software is commercialized and monetized, right? To your point, where kind of moving towards consumption-based models and outcome-based models, and not just seat licenses or things like that. And I'm curious again, your perspectives on that. Do you see that as well? And what is Aptean doing about that?
Yeah, great question, right? So from Aptean perspective, prior to answering the kind of the pricing perspective,
Yeah.
just from a solution, right? How we are approaching the AI, in our solutions is really around how do we drive higher efficiency for our customers, and at the pace they want, right? They can adopt, they can consume it, so they can drive their top line growth or whatever their outcomes are, right? To be able to drive that. AI, from agents, we were talking, Mark, is like, we've got a number of agents, right? Agents will be all over, everywhere. They assist, and depending on the role, it could be different things they do. And then the two things I actually think will make significant difference it's really not agents per se, it's the workflows. So every business has a workflow.
Yeah.
Right? And then their workflow, think about new customer onboarding workflow or end of month closing, right? Different workflows that happen in a business, they're not just one agent. It's the agents and people involved in it, their customers involved in it, their employees involved in it, different roles involved in it, to be able to kind of like have their workflow. Today, if you draw the workflow, there are a bunch of steps in the workflow. People do all our tasks. In future, some of those nodes in the workflow could be done by AI.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Some could be done by automation. So that is kind of like where I think rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where, and then workflows also depend on the depth of the functionality. Right? So we have a lot of depth of features that can go deeper, like recipe management and like a product, product lifecycle, product creation, a lot of those things which horizontal softwares don't have. So that's why it's actually exponentially valuable. And also because the conversation we have breadth of solutions nobody else has. So these AI workflows can cut through from right through entire processes across the supply chain. For example, a manufacturing lane has to be taken out because it has to be maintained. So we can predict when it's when it should be maintained. You can make an appointment with the most favored vendor to come in and make a change. And while the lane's being maintained, or what do you do with how do you reallocate people that work on the lane to a different lane? And what do you do with the raw materials? Say you don't want the raw materials sitting in front of your warehouse while lane's down.
Yeah.
How do you schedule that? Right? How do you schedule output? Right? Your trucks sitting on the dock. You don't want them in trucks because you're not making that much product. So the entire workflow today is probably handled by people, right? If the person that's perfect in mapping all this out, done 10 years, is not there that day, you have a chaos, right? So that's all those workflows, whether it be a workflow that's running normally or there's a blip, mission went down unexpectedly, what do you do?
Yeah.
All of those things is where I think, AI has brain compared to automation, right? So it actually transforms the efficiency, whether it be, even a simple thing like a recall. Sometimes, right, I have a lot of customers, right, food customers we have, recall, nobody wants a recall. If the recall happens today, we may be recalling more than we should.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? AI models will help you, should you recall or not? If you
Right.
do, what's the minimal product you want to recall? Today you may be recalling everything because you're scared, right? You don't know enough to know. And then how does their workflow look like? Like decision making, who does what, all of that stuff. I think it's super excited about it. So the workflows, AI embedded workflows, I think really drive the significant efficiency, which depend on data, richness of the data and functionality of the product. Second one, and personally, I think of I call them workspaces. So let's say, I'm a CEO or a CFO. Today, CFO needs data to make decisions. How does the data get to them? How do I get visibility of what's happening? How do I get visibility of what happened yesterday in my business? What do I need to know to make decisions I need to do? I don't need a bunch of staff meetings and ask for a bunch of data to know, right? It's a lot of the times it's like you're hunting for information, right, instead of data coming to you, and then a lot of people. So, but the same thing for different workflow, for sales workspace or collector's workspace or accountant workspace. Think about different use cases of this. So that's the other aspect we think of it as, that every persona to have a set of agents. I participate in some workflows. I have workspace which helps me, right? So that actually my day could be most effective possible to driving what matters for the business. So set up all of those things, underpinning on top of the AI. And we're also actually, part of our solutions is that we have we call Aptean Intelligence Studio.
Yes.
That's coming out part of the Aptean, what we call App Central App Central platform we just launched. So we create agents. Aptean will create agents, number of agents for our software. They'll be embedded. They're available for everybody to use. Part of the processes, we will create some template workflows. Customers can create more workflows and modify them. Right? Same thing with the workspaces, and they can create their own agents using our studio, and then you deploy them into workflows. So we're providing a lot of different capabilities.
Got it.
For customers to be able to do that. So,
Well, that's great. TVN, it raises another important point, and if all goes well, there could be thousands of people listening to this, and I want to give you a chance because you and I talked earlier and said that Aptean is the best kept secret, and I want to help reveal some of these tremendously valuable secrets. And one of them is that you have a very disciplined industry focus, and part of your strategy that I understand in terms of not only organic growth and product development, but also inorganic growth, is to be very industry adaptive and industry driven. And it's coming around to a question, but the observation I have is that there's this sort of ongoing discussion, maybe it's a debate, but there's a discussion about the value of industry specific enterprise software and in the context of total cost of ownership and with regards to software purchase price plus integration plus professional services customizations plus, right? And at the end of the day, which is the better TCO story? Is it industry specific or is it horizontal platform? And I continue to see evidence that industry specificity is paying off for a lot of the players out there, ERP as well as other enterprise software players. And I maybe want to just simplify it down to, if you were to describe why does it make sense for Aptean to focus the way it does, even from a human capital perspective? I know you have very deep expertise, industry deep expertise that is actually hard to replicate by competitors. But why is that the choice that you've made? Is it a value premium offering that you're able to offer customers? Is it actually lower cost from a TCO perspective? Tell me a little bit about the why behind that strategy.
Yeah, great question, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been, from our DNA, always has been, right, industry specific software. That is, that's built into our DNA. Every application product we have is a purpose-built application with a deep, rich set of capabilities. Now, obviously, with acquisitions, we have very broad set of capabilities as well. So, the depth and functional depth of our capabilities and the breadth obviously makes us a unique company in the market. I mean, if you think about how many companies have an ERP and transportation solution, almost none, right? And then now with the supply chain and demand, supply and inventory optimization, forecasting, and the planning portfolio, we are sort of in a unique place from a category perspective to provide end-to-end solutions. From industry solutions, obviously, there's no comparison between the value and TCO that customer gets from using a horizontal platform versus industry. I mean, people can, when they make a selection, they go, it's a little bit cheaper, looks a little bit cheaper on surface. But over the 3 years, I think, it's very proven. There's a lot of data that suggests that industry-specific softwares deliver 2.5x to north of 2.5x ROI, right? The speed to implementation, the depth of the implementation, the core of the business, whether it be what they do, gets in touch with industry-specific software. Yeah, horizontal softwares can close the books, right? But it doesn't touch anything related beyond that, operations, all of that. But that's where the differentiation of a business A comes against business B, is how you optimize the operations and how you can deliver quality product to their end customer. So we've been, and it is built upon, it is our DNA. And it's actually, if you think about AI, you brought up, it actually exponentially compounds the value.
Yeah.
Because, right, industry-specific softwares have the data that is very industry-specific as well, which horizontal right? AI, as we know, is all built on data or workflows.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the richer the data we have about the company and the workflows, and then the more value of AI would be. And as we been talking about, App Central is a platform. So we are actually approaching the kind of like the historically we talk of platform players like SAP or NetSuite built a platform. They're like a mile wide, inch deep, call them right, mile wide, inch deep platforms, and we're deep, right? We're like a mile deep, right,
Yeah.
and mile wide because we're approaching the insane suite of applications, a platform, a suite of applications that are purpose built,
Yeah.
which are mile deep, right?
Yeah.
That's so it gets the best of the platform capabilities and the investments we're making in the platform, the AI and everything else, while the applications are deep and that have that mile deep capabilities. So I think it's going to be a significant value proposition for our customers. And from an ROI perspective, I just don't think it's even comparable.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you and I talked about it. The breadth and the depth
Right.
is hard to find, and like I said, takes time and is actually a very high barrier to entry for your competitors. So I think it's a very strong position. So this is great stuff, TV. I wanted to talk about geographic strategy, right? I thought there's an interesting. I did a little bit of research, and you can keep me honest on the numbers, but back around the time you became CEO, which I think was 2018, is that right?
That's right.
That's right. From a geographic perspective, 84% of Aptean revenue was North America. Again, keep me honest. And I think it's down to slightly more than half, like 55, 56% today. And I think you have a stated goal of being somewhat half and half, North America, rest of world, a couple years from now. And first off, keep me honest on those numbers. I think they're roughly correct. But I guess the better part of that discussion is that a deliberate strategy to sort of internationalize the business, globalize the business? And if so, what do you hope to gain from that strategy?
Yeah, great question, Mark. Yeah, your data is pretty close to right. I mean, it's been
Yep.
about 84, 85% back when I became CEO.
Yep.
We primarily North America. We had bulk of the rest in the UK.
Yep.
We didn't have we have very little outside of UK, even in Europe back then. Right. So today we are roughly 55-45, and we will probably be 50-50. I mean, the strategy really has been the reason to do that. Obviously, we have our transportation vehicle routing solution we acquired in UK is the best, right? We brought that solution over to North America. We have marquee customers, right? Adopt that solution from new prospects to existing customers. So there's obviously, we're following where the best in class solutions are available for us to acquire, and we bring them. So a lot of those happen to be in Europe because Europe is right, is less consolidated than North America. The second thing is in our solutions, a lot of our global solutions are our food and beverage solutions or our apparel solutions. All of our solutions are global, truly global. So we
Yeah.
are not only selling, so we are investing heavily into the product and innovation. So going global will create more addressable market for us. So food and beverage solutions, we're selling in North America, we're selling in UK, we're selling in Germany, we're selling through partners. So it gives us a bigger market, which in
Yeah.
turns, right, afford us to invest more into the products.
Thank you so much, TVN. Always a pleasure. Thank you for your time and your insights. Congratulations again on all of your success and your team's success at Aptean. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Enterprise Edge. Thank you. Good night.